right, hey guys, so just wanted to come back in at you guys. Bring it while it's hot, drop it while it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. I can't believe I just started off a video like that. That is so fun. Okay, trying to make this stay. Let's see if we can do it. So I just want to do a quick video again, kind of just piggybacking on the last video if you watched it. So it's like love languages meets the elements. This is more about your partner, your person, your people. It could be your kids, your significant other, close family, extended family that you're taking care of, perhaps, like all these different things. But it's like if we can find out, I feel like learning people, one of the first things I do when I get a new job and I'm working in the office is like to try to figure out everybody's birthdays and their signs and stuff as quickly as possible, and possibly even take these steps in the future of like running their whole chart if I really wanted to, if I cared. But this is like, it's that sort of thing, we treat everybody differently. Everybody has their own every relationship is a different combination of energies. So you have like predominantly air people mixing with fire, so like fire will feed air and these different elements will come through. And you have to be aware again that it's not all going to be about your sun sign. A lot of it's going to be about your moon sign, your rising, ascendant, nodes, like different areas of your life and different factors, like there's a lot to it, so don't be simplistic and dismissive. But on a very basic level, you can sort of feel or see or imagine, like guess, surmise, like whatever adjective you want to use, you can sort of take a stab at the people around you and what they need, what their love language is, even if they don't tell you, take the test in front of you. I think the love languages are very connected to the elements, you know what I mean? And you have, again, air signs, sword people, it's I think, I believe, I can surmise, all of these different types of words. It's just how they approach things. That's just how they perceive things. It's just their way. And again, just because their sun sign is one thing, there's deeper levels. Okay, water would be I feel this. Well, I really feel like, yeah, that's me all the way. Sun and moon sign and moon. So I'm a feeler. Okay, water sign all the way. And then again, like I said, I have more air in my chart, apparently. So underlying things can really add up in a way, or they cannot. It's kind of how you want to perceive it as well. You may find that during air season, like or whatever season, you have these weird things where like, yeah, during air season, maybe air signs affect me more. During water season, maybe I identify with my water sign more. It's just that sort of intuitiveness and knowing and moving forward and learning and all of this stuff together. Okay, so like I said, air's more thinking, water's more feeling, wands, I am, I do, I like, I prefer, I love, whatever else like they're doing at that time. Like I invest, I jump, I fly, I sing, I dance, like everything they do, and it. So earth is like manifesting and building and creating and organizing, like making something. So with these things, you kind of want to keep them in mind, how you relate to people, how you talk to them, how you love them, and how you can look to receive love. Sometimes when we're doing our shadow work, we'll be like, okay, well, so-and-so did this. Okay, well, let's boil it down. Well, so-and-so did this and it made me feel like this. So I feel like this, and how am I making somebody else feel like this? And it's like, oh, or like, how am I not feeling this? How am I feeling this? How are they feeling this? How, like whatever ways you want to flip it as many ways as you can as it resonates with you. But you're going and doing this and searching and kind of looking at all of these different, like you're examining it, it just takes me back to the metaphor of digging it up. You dig it up, you have to really dust it off, completely dust it off. Then you have to figure out what to do with it. Then you have to figure out where it goes. Like, that's only step one, to dust it off, find it in the whole field in the first place. You know, this is the perfect metaphor, you know, because sometimes it feels like, oh, there's so much buried, so many skeletons buried. You can deal with them. Let me tell you, you can systematically dig this shit up and deal with it quick if you want to. You are powerful, and you set the tone, and you lay the framework and the groundwork for everything. So if you're an air sign or you resonate with thinking in this moment, then think about how, you know, do some, whatever it is, you know, and it's kind of like intuitive. So that's also why people have a hard time like explaining, you know, shadow work and the law of attraction, which is why I'm doing this program, is because when you go and you look for these answers, it's like, well, people talk about it and they talk about it, but what the fuck is it? You know, like, what do you really do? So I try to give you guys the steps to like really do it, and really like just say, I'm doing this, and like actually make it happen. That's what you have to do. That's what it takes. Okay. So for air, you know, you explore, you reverse, you ponder, okay? This is your primal way to process. There's no wrong way. You got to let it out and then deal with it. People stifle things because they think it's bad or they want to judge it automatically, and then it turns up to like come into this crazy part of their personality where they have to enact it and do like evil thoughts. Whereas if they just would acknowledge the evil thoughts and say, you know what, this is just a thought, it's not me, it just popped up, like you just, how we deal with things, you know what I mean? So again, pondering, thinking, processing, air signs. Feelings, you know, water, we condense it, we boil it down. We are intuitively or emotionally and or feeling, you know, what comes up. And this is very spiritual. It's our reaction to the energies. And the inner means something. The emotional is very, shall we say, squandered. It's very suppressed in our culture, because the patriarchy doesn't want to acknowledge that there's so much knowledge, wisdom, beauty, power, etc. in the subvert female way, because the powers that be are obviously yin, they are not yin, they are yang. They're not the yin, they're the yang, you could say, but I say yang, it's different. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's the, you know, they don't say yang. So anyway, I'm just like getting myself off track here. We do this, you know, we do it, we make it a lifestyle. We are in touch. And again, if you're more in touch with your thoughts, be in touch with your thoughts. It'll all stem from there. If you're a water person, then maybe you're going to be doing this more for your emotional side. And that's fine. Again, just feel what you're feeling. Allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to express it, and then deal with it. You know, a lot of people will express things, but then they won't deal with it. Again, it's a holistic process, and it does take all your capacities. So again, your mental, your emotional, your physical, actual actions, and then your habits over time put together will equal your results and your karma, as I always discuss on my Law of Attraction playlist and pretty much everywhere in my program and all of this stuff, which is now free, by the way. Check it out in my playlist for now. Like I said, time of posting. So going through the emotional, going through the physical, I kind of want to talk a little bit about, about getting on the physical side and boiling it down a little bit. You know, sometimes we're venting, we got ourselves riled up, we really want to, we just let it out. And again, sometimes a video is good because you will let things out and you will notice things. You know, if you watch it back, if you need to go to that measure, you know what I mean? But you're really analyzing it. You know, why does this bother you? Why are you letting this get to you? What is the deeper meaning? Where are we going with this? You know, like all of these questions, and you're the guide, your intuition. You're going to be asking yourself questions mentally because you're in tune with your thoughts and all of this stuff. But then you're going to have to follow through with your emotions immediately. And that is what's going to solidify it into the belief sector and the expectation, which coincides with the physical, because if you truly believe it to that point, you will act. You will do actions. If you believe something strong enough, it will move you to act. If you don't believe in something enough, you will not do actions. This is how you can gauge your relationships as well, by the way, ladies, or more feminine energies in general, not necessarily, you know, feminine, male, whatever, but the people who are, you know, kind of withholding, it's like, well, why? You know, there's always a sign and a reason for every little thing if we want to admit it to ourselves, or if we want to recognize it or not. And some things, like, we go through life and all these things are happening and we're not even processing these things. So something's pissing us off. Something's pissing us off. That's pissing us off. But I'm not giving myself time to process or deal with any of this. So it's just pissing me off, creating this ball of negative energy that is like out of control, and honestly a waste, because it's not, I mean, it'll get you somewhere eventually, so it's not a waste. It has to happen. But the only reason that much energy is going to have to end up being spent on this big problem could have been spent, you know, before, if you had the foresight to actually look at your life instead of be distracted by A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay? So when you're doing this shadow work, when you're doing the inner child healing, you're condensing, you're boiling stuff down. Again, how does it make you feel? You're your own therapist, okay? You are seeing things from the higher perspective, maybe as somebody else looking in on yourself, you know, because you don't always have to identify with who you are, or again, what you're thinking at any given time. Okay, so when you boil it down, you know, it always comes down to dualities, and it's always actually comes down to like the now versus like the past, and your inner child healing versus your shadow work. You know, you have both a negative and a positive on both the past and the now. So you got to learn how to flip the script, flip the switch. You have to learn how to boil this stuff down. Well, okay, so we're thinking about it. Well, so-and-so said so-and-so. Well, hold on.